Hello, everyone. Welcome to this session of Spokane Public Schools Keep Learning Series for Literacy. Today's lesson is for all second graders, but of course, any interested student is welcome to join us. Welcome to our virtual classroom. My name is Peggy Eckloff, and I'm from Whitman Elementary in Spokane Schools, and I will be your teacher for this lesson. Today, we will be learning about the life cycle of a plant. For this lesson, you will need 2 sheets of paper and something to write with. I will pause for about 10 seconds so that you can gather those materials. Do that now. Before we begin our lesson today, look out a window and find the tallest tree that you can see. It's hard to imagine that that tree was once a tiny seed. The seed was in the ground, and sunlight and rain helped it to grow. Trees start out small, but then they grow and grow and grow until they're fully grown. When seeds fall from the tree, then new trees grow. That's what we call the tree life cycle. Many plants change and grow in this same way. Before we begin our reading today, let's look at the writing prompt because that's going to help determine our focus for listening today. Let's read it together. As we read from seed to plant, listen for how a seed changes and becomes a plant. The changes in the boxes below, record the changes in the boxes below or on a piece of paper. These notes will help you write about the life cycle after we have read the book. And remember, you don't have to have this fancy sheet of paper. I'll show you how to draw these 4 boxes with 4 arrows so that we can organize our thinking together about the life cycle of a plant. So let's go to our text and read now. From Seed to Plant by Gail Gibbons. Most plants make seeds. A seed contains the beginning of a new plant. Seeds are different shapes, sizes, and colors. All seeds grow into the same kind of plant that made them. A sunflower from a sunflower seed, and an oak tree from an acorn. Many plants grow flowers. Flowers are where most seeds begin. Before a seed can begin to grow, a grain of pollen from the stamen must land on the stigma at the top of the pistil of a flower like itself. This is called pollination. Pollination happens in different ways. Often, wind blows pollen from flower to flower. Bees, other insects, and hummingbirds help pollinate too. While they visit flowers for their sweet juice, called nectar, pollen rubs onto their bodies. Then they carry the pollen to another flower, where it comes off onto its pistil. If a pollen grain from a flower lands on the pistil of the same kind of flower, it grows a long tube through the pistil into an ovule. This is the beginning of a seed. So now let's go to our graphic organizer so we can record this beginning of the life cycle of a plant. Let's do that now. So on my sheet of paper, I'm going to draw a simple graphic organizer that will help organize our thinking about the life cycle of a plant. You do the same. I'm going to get my draw tool out, and at the top of the page, I'm going to draw a box. And then to the far right, I'm going to draw another box. And at the bottom, I'll draw our third box. And then over to the left, another box. Now I'm going to add my arrows to show that the plant life cycle happens over and over and over again. This may sound familiar to you if you learned about the life cycle of a monarch butterfly in first grade. Just keeps happening over and over. Okay, now that we have our graphic organizer, let's go ahead and add that word seed in the first box. S-E-E-D. Go ahead and add that to your graphic organizer now. Let's go back to our text. The seeds grow inside the flower even as the flower begins to die. As the seeds become bigger, a fruit or pod grows around them. The fruit or pod protects the seeds. When the fruit or pod ripens, it breaks open. The seeds are ready to become new plants. Some seeds fall to the ground around the base of the plant where they will grow. Some pods or fruits open and the seeds pop out. Sometimes when birds eat berries, they drop the seeds. Other seeds fall into streams, ponds, rivers, or the ocean. There they travel on the water until they stick to dirt along a shore. The wind scatters seeds. Some seeds have fluff on them that lets them float to the ground like tiny parachutes. Others have wings that spin as they fall. Animals help scatter seeds too. They hide acorns and nuts in the ground. Some seeds have hooks that stick to the fur of animals or people's clothes. Later, they drop off onto the ground. A flower bed or vegetable garden is beautiful. Seeds are planted to grow in the gardens. The seeds come in small envelopes or boxes. Directions explain how to plant the seeds and care for the plants. The beginning of a plant is curled up inside each seed. Food is stored inside the seed too. The seed has a seed coat on the outside to protect it. A seed will not sprout until certain things happen. First, it must be on or in the soil. Then it needs rain to soak the seed and soften its seed coat. When the sun shines and warms the ground, the seed coat breaks open and the seed begins to grow. This is called germination. A root grows down into the soil. The root takes in water and minerals from the soil for food. So now we're ready to record on our graphic organizer because the seed is changing and growing a root. Let's do that now. So on our graphic organizer in the second box, we're going to add that word root. Let's do that together now. R-O-O-T. Let's go back to our text. Up grows a shoot. Green leaves grow up from the shoot toward the sun. So now I know what you're thinking. We need to record this on our graphic organizer about how the plant grows a shoot and leaves. Let's do that now. In the third box at the bottom of my page, I'm going to record shoot, let's go back to our text. The plant grows bigger and bigger. The leaves make food for the plant from the water and minerals in the soil, the sunlight and the air all around the plant. Finally, the plant is full grown. Buds on the plant open into flowers where new seeds will grow. So now we need to record that on our graphic organizer that the seed has become a full-grown plant. Let's do that now. So now I'm to the last box on my graphic organizer. Let's add that word plant. P-L-A-N-T. You do the same now. Let's finish our text. Many of the foods people eat are seeds, fruits, and pods. They are full of nutrition, vitamins, and minerals, and they are tasty too. So what do you think? You know a lot of things about the life cycle of a plant, and I think you're ready to write about it and tell your reader all that you know. Let's go back and look at our graphic organizer, and then we'll talk about how we want to show that in writing. Let's do that now. So let's review our graphic organizer. We have that plants start out as tiny seeds. They then grow a root, then shoots and leaves, and then they become a full-grown plant, which then makes more seeds, and those seeds then grow a root. Well, you've got it. You know all about the life cycle of a plant. So let's go back to our writing prompt and let's write now. So let's look at our writing prompt, and then I will show you how I would begin this task. Let's read it together. From Seed to Plant by Gail Gibbons. Write about the life cycle of a plant. How does the seed change into a plant? Use words like first, next, and finally to describe the life cycle. So when I get ready to write, I've got my wonderful graphic organizer. I've already done all of the hard thinking, and so I'm going to use that to help me write today. I want to start with a topic sentence because a topic sentence tells my reader what I'm going to be talking about. It's kind of like a commercial for my thinking. Have you ever been watching TV and all of a sudden a commercial comes on really loud? Well, that's what your topic sentence does. It's really loud and it grabs your reader's attention. It tells your reader what you're going to be talking about. I know in this writing, I want to be talking about the life cycle of a plant. So I'm going to include those words in my topic sentence. It would go something like this. A plant changes and grows during the plant life cycle. So let me read that again. A plant changes and grows during the plant life cycle. I want to use that word first as my transition word because I'm going to be talking about what happens first. And looking at my graphic organizer, I see that word seed. So I want to include that now. First, plants start as tiny seeds. I'm going to reread. A plant changes and grows during the plant life cycle. First, plants, I see a typo there, so I'm going to fix that. Let me read that again. First, plants start as tiny seeds. Next, they grow a root. Let me reread that. A plant changes and grows during the plant life cycle. First, plants start as tiny seeds. Next, they grow a root. Then, and I'm going to stop there because I know that you can write about the life cycle of a plant. Using your graphic organizer and your transition words, you can tell your reader all about how a plant changes and grows. Thank you, second graders, for joining me today. I'm so glad we had this lesson together. Remember to stay safe, keep working hard as I know you are, and I'll see you next time.